Alrighty. Well, hello. Hey guys, my name is Crimson Clad. It is CyberBuzz Radio. It's a little quieter this morning because Making Stuff was off. And always, he's a fabulous show, and I rely on him to bring a lot of the professionalism and sort of start off the day here. So he was off doing some work. I think he had to pick up a trailer. Now you're stuck with me. My name is Crimson Clad, and I'm here every Saturday. We talk about tech and disruptive technology and blockchain. But today is a very special day. And so if you want to come hang out, I highly recommend that you watch in one of the places that has video. Because, hi, Hacker Girl. I'm so glad to see you. Hi to everybody who's jumping in. Give us a second. I know. Because today I have DDR Freak, and I'm actually going to switch the overlay right now so you can see. Ta-da! There's two of us, and he's on video too. Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, very good. So the plan today is obviously we're going to talk a little bit about streaming alternatives. We're going to talk about Vim TV. You have been streaming for ages. I know you do a bunch of work with. You do a lot of extra life work. Like you're the people's streamer, and you've come into a blockchain ecosystem and kind of spearheaded a new dream of what streaming should look like. And so today we're kind of gonna have a fun conversation about all things gaming and streaming, but realistically, what we really want to do is kind of a deep dive on Vim TV and your goals and changes and sort of why all of these people who maybe move into the space and explore Twitch and are discovering that with DMCA and sort of all of the rules around Twitch and all of the problems that can come with the monetization and the centralization. Why do you need to stream to different places? Why do you need other services, and sort of how Vim fits into that? So I think today's going to be real fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad to be here. You know, it's always fun to join you, and I love watching your video, your shows. I'm stumbling over my words all of a sudden, and I'm not normally like this for some odd reason.
Well, there's something about when you have somebody kind of formally interviewing you and whatnot that it's like, oh God, this is a real thing. However, what I can promise you is I often drink on this show. And in general, I'm a hot mess.
Son of a bitch.
We'll put on a track so you could get a drink. But yeah.
I think we might do that later. Yeah,
it's fun, but also I'm a hot fucking mess. I'm a disaster. So nothing you can do short of, if you pass out and I have to, sweep you off the screen, nothing you can do will be that bad. I promise. But I think the biggest thing to maybe start with, just because it usually takes a minute for people to filter in, I got to do the tweet because I'm the world's worst streamer and entertainer, is maybe kind of just give everybody a little bit of an overview about, Ron wants to know if you're going to dance for us.
If it weren't for this whole COVID thing, you could have seen that 2 weeks ago.
Oh, right. I know everything's been messed up. We can talk a little bit about that too.
I know. Yeah. So we'll probably wind up talking about that later too, but yeah.
So kind of give us a description of like Vim, like give us the elevator pitch for Vim, and then maybe talk a little bit about what it's been like building this on Steam and then Hive and sort of how that experience has gone, because this has been crazy.
Definitely. So Vim is a live streaming site, not unlike Twitch, not unlike what Mixer used to be. There's quite a few of them out there, but what sets Vim apart, and I'm sorry, Hive QA. You're talking to Hacker Girl. Never mind. Carry on. Take that to DMs, please.
The big thing, one thing you'll learn, and one thing that I've learned, is audience is a shit show. These are the people who are amazing and loving and caring. But if you watch the chat, there will be dicks, there will be butts, there will be swears, there will be twerking. It's great fun. Also, just blinders on.
Yeah, blinders on. Yeah, exactly. And of course, I'm sitting right underneath my camera, so I'm like, ooh, wait, I can't look at that. I shouldn't be looking at that. So the thing that sets Vim apart from a lot of our competition, I guess for lack of better words, is our focus on community building on top of being blockchain oriented. So the big thing with Vim and something that I have really focused on as co-owner as the community manager is really fostering that semblance of growth. The biggest way the biggest thing that streamers can do to succeed on our platform is engage other streamers, because it will come back around, and they'll come back around and engage you. Our growth track looks at engagement in the chat as well as how often you're streaming. So having an active chat room in Vim actually is actually a very good thing, and can actually bring you up on our leaderboard. We focus a lot on the transparency side of things. And honestly, that was started out of a disdain from my personal experience working with Twitch some 5 years ago, and I had issues with the way that Twitch handles a lot of their policy. They don't explain things well, and if you have questions, you don't get answers.
Yeah.
And there's this old Magic the Gathering card that back when I played Magic, it stuck out to me. It was from the card's called Anarchist, and it had this flavored text that said, "Those who refuse to follow are doomed to lead." And it's one of those things that kind of stuck with me, because it's like, because it was after one of my Extra Life charity fundraisers that Twitch had decided to dick me around a little bit, and I couldn't get a straight answer from them, and I'm one of those people that I try and do right by everyone around me. You know, I'd never want to intentionally go in and screw somebody over. That's not my personality. And so when there's something wrong, I'm like, I want to try and fix this. How do I fix this?
Yeah.
Crickets. Nothing. There was no response.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is not right. This is not good. You know, there's got to be something better. And I bounced around to a couple of different platforms over the years. I was on Hitbox and then Smashcast for a while. And actually, I was on the front page rotation for a little bit.
I'm shocked because half of these things that you're kind of saying, like Mixer, I'd heard of only because it died. But like Hitbox and Smashcast, like obviously other people have tried this. They know that a bigger tool set matters. But it's fascinating to me what a dominant hold sort of Twitch and I guess some of the
Twitch
live
has
platforms
the entire market by the balls, and everybody knows it.
Yeah. And so it's frustrating. And so that's kind of like where I want to lead us towards today is I don't expect that people will drop Twitch. I mean, we're streaming out on Twitch right now, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the expectation. And I talk about this a lot with Hive in general. I don't want to see people leave tool sets they're comfortable with. Tool sets are meant to be sort of curated and customized until you have a group of things that all work really well for you. And we know that Twitch works really well in that there's a giant audience base. That's where eyeballs are, so you're forced to go there.
That's exactly it.
What, adding Vim and knowing there's all this sort of connection to a blockchain and a decentralized media is saying, okay, well, I have an audience on one platform, but also now I have some of the features and the safety and the redundancy and the community and the sort of values in another one. And how do I combine those really effectively? But I know we were talking
it's
about...
interesting to bring that up. Sorry to interrupt you here.
No, not at all.
There's a YouTube video that I saw just earlier this week by a very well-known Twitch streamer by the name of Devin Nash. And I'm going to pull this up so I can put it into the chat here.
Yeah.
Talking about why the affiliate program that Twitch runs is a fucking joke, and why for most people you shouldn't do it. And one of the things they mentioned was the exclusivity clause in the affiliate contract makes it more difficult for you to grow your brand in ways that it effectively hinders you. Here, so I just dropped that into the MSP Waves audience channel there. Guys, go add that to your watch later list. It's a half-hour video, but it's definitely it's a long video, but it's worth sitting through the entire thing.
Okay, so this to
really
me,
talk quite a bit about it.
I'm gonna watch this too because I'll just kind of throw it out there. Like one thing that I haven't done, obviously, is when I'm streaming on Twitch, I don't advertise my Twitch. I don't talk about it a whole lot. And I certainly don't. Perfect. Marty's going to give an announcement later too. So that's exciting.
Fantastic.
But so the reason that I bring this up is I'm nowhere near affiliate, but I get sort of the little counter and it's always kind of pushing me. I don't log into Twitch. I never look at it. It is, I literally just hooked it up through the caster panel. And it's not my main streaming thing. And I know that's probably a mistake in terms of growth, but affiliate is that first level, and I'm not super familiar with kind of the layout. I know there's affiliate and there's partner, and they both have follower requirements, but so do you have any kind of idea, just to kind of give everybody here a bit of an overview, because this is one of the big things is, that perception of the crypto space, the streaming space, the content creation space is, look at these people, they just shit something out and then money rains on them. and obviously that's not...
You think that for about 30 seconds and then you realize it's completely fucking wrong.
Yeah, the second you get into this space, absolutely. The second you get into this space, you realize, wow, that's not fucking true at all. Like, wow, no one will pay me. And of course, that's why a lot of people kind of came to Hive, and maybe that's not the reason they stayed. Hopefully that's not the reason they stayed.
It's why I came. Yeah. It's why I first got involved with Steam, but I realized very quickly that was not the case.
Yeah.
But what kept me around was the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think maybe, can you kind of do you have an idea sort of what this program looks like, and the little bits of what kind of money do you make as an affiliate? It's not important, but I think it's kind of something to touch on is, let's put it this way. I stream, I have 2 shows, 5+ hours a week, very consistent. If I actually got the followers, which I've never even shared my Twitch link on Twitter. What does affiliate do for you? Benefits.
I was an affiliate for about a year on Twitch. And so once you reach affiliate, you can viewers can subscribe to you on Twitch. And so that's $5 a month. Twitch keeps half of that.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So that there's fee schedule there. Viewers can also tip you with a currency called bits, which it's I think viewers spend 100 bits is $1, and then to cash it, the streamer can cash it out at, I think it's 140 bits for $1.
Oh, so they don't. They obviously get a piece on the way in.
They take a cut along the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you cannot cash out until you reach a balance of $100.
Okay. Which, I mean, is probably not unreasonable, but the subscription one is wow, that's hefty. And again, that comes from, there's no competition in the space. Now, one thing I know that you guys have been doing, first of all, the nice thing about Vim is, because it's connected to Hive, you got a username already, depending on how you want to connect it up with Vim services, but you have a verifiable identity with keys. So there's no more of this bullshit where you turn on a channel and you're like, is that so-and-so? And the other thing is, should somebody want to pay you? Now, Vim has options, and I'm going to ask you about that, because I know this is very exciting for you guys.
Yes.
But also, if they wanted to, and not to kind of put this out there, somebody certainly could say, okay, I want to pay DDR Freak, I want to pay Crim. They could easily make a transaction at the blockchain level in any token attached to the blockchain that they saw fit. And they still have that kind of direct connection, and potentially could decide, I want to support this streamer above and beyond their Vim stream, and be able to look at either blog stuff or, whatever the other options would be. I want to play games. I'm going to stream playing, Crypto Brewmaster with Crim or Hash Kings or whatever. So
let's do it.
There's this sort of crazy expandability of the ecosystem and the universe that Vim is now attached to, that I think is so valuable. We talk about on this show so often. And it drives me nuts that we haven't figured out a good way to communicate it yet. So you guys have that option, and then also your gems?
Yes. So the gems are our equivalent of bits. And 1 gem is equal to $1. Currently, they are purchasable through PayPal. So you can purchase gems. We've been working on that's been the big thing that we've been working on. Prior to this, we were running gems on Hive Engine. But we realized very quickly that running it through Hive was actually hamstringing us. And the reason being is that we came to the realization that we could make an imaginary currency that has no backing whatsoever, and we could operate it with no oversight. But the moment we tied it to a publicly auditable blockchain that anybody can verify the transactions, all of a sudden we have to record pictures of people's passports. We have to do this anti-money laundering. And there's all these things that we had to do, and it made things more difficult to onboard people who were not necessarily interested in crypto.
Yeah,
because there are people out there that don't care about crypto.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's totally okay. And so for us to be able to reach as many people as possible, we have to reach out to the normies, for lack of better words.
Truth. And
we also have to reach out to the people that are into crypto. And so there's that balance. You have to there's a fine line there that you have to really straddle to really make things work.
Well, I think that, I mean, in all honesty, this is something that Hive struggles with. This is not a Vim only thing. And for you guys, starting up a business and kind of looking at what's doable for us and what gives us the greatest reach at the level that we're at. And actually, Marty's commenting in the chat because he's created a number of dApps on the Hive blockchain as well. And so this is something that I think is actually potentially a good thing. It's hard for us to recognize that, like, you know what? One of the sort of strengths that Hive has in terms of powering dApps is that it can be as front and center as you want it to be. So for you, your main sort of reach is streamers, and streamers can be anyone. They may not be crypto heads, but they could be. And then you have the Hive ecosystem to draw them into crypto if they want. But that's not your selling point. And so I don't think it's terrible that you've kind of had to look at ways of how do we also service people who are not in crypto? Mm-hmm. That's not a bad thing. It's a smart choice for you guys, but it's a recognition that if you were trying to say, okay, my audience is crypto and streamers where they overlap, that's a small group. But if you could say my audience is crypto and streamers inclusive, that's a much bigger group. And that sort of delineation, it matters.
And the goal of any small business is to reach as many people as possible and get them to use your product.
Yep, exactly. And we are missing that in this ecosystem. A lot of sort of the focus, and this is the hard part, I think, for any decentralized group. And it's certainly the thing that we're struggling with. Hi, Jason. Hi, everybody who's joined us. I didn't say hi. I saw Fred hopped in. Ben is here. Lots of people saying hi.
Mark is in.
Yeah, and a lot of people are not in the Discord. If you are watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Vim TV, you can comment in any of those places. You will show up in chat, so say hi. Don't be shy.
Hi.
And of course, a lot of people are actually just watching the video. They're not necessarily, if you're in the Discord room, you're listening to just audio. If you want to see both of us, then you can watch at, again, any of the places.
Magnificent ginger beard.
That's right. Ginger's all over the place today. So
hell yeah.
we've been talking, this is DDR Freak. We've been talking a little bit about Vim. That's kind of the goal today, is just knowing that we're in this critical place. There's inertia with the math graph to back up what we're saying.
And that's exactly it.
Yeah. We're not live on Vim. God damn it, wait, Ron, get it together.
Ron!
We literally linked to Vim. Well, that's okay. The clown will figure it out, and this is being recorded, so we're gonna have options for all of you.
Perfect.
But so here's sort of the deal of what we kind of want to talk about today is streaming is big, and here we are in COVID times. It's not us. What do you mean it's not us? I don't understand. Okay, well, Ron will figure that out in the background. But
okay.
So the way that such things are working is that it's COVID times. Everybody's at home. People are consuming more streamed content than ever. More people are jumping into streaming than ever, because what the fuck am I going to do? I'm sitting at home in front of my computer anyways. Lots of people are kind of exploring this for the first time. And Ron says he can't do anything without restarting the. Okay, well. Can you do that, Ron? I'm still going to keep streaming. Will that mess up our whole stream? Because I'm still streaming to other places, and that's okay. And I'm recording. So maybe it's okay if Ron has to do the magic in the Discord, because our communication will be fine. Yeah. We will be fine. We will live on. And he can sort that out in the background. Yeah, Zoom is getting rich. Discord is jumping in. Hi, Sacra's here. Lots of new people. Oh, he can't do it. Awesome. Okay, well...
Okay.
Thank you, Ron. You do whatever you can in the background. So the reality is we're poised at this perfect time for an alternative streaming media to really to at least start getting a market share or to kind of plant seeds in people's brains. Because not only are we ripe for blockchain, people are starting to think about that. Not only are we ripe for, well, Twitch is all about these really shitty algorithms ruining everyone's life and demonetizing them constantly for nothing.
And they don't care about you. Yeah.
And they don't care and they don't solve it. And we've got more people than ever getting into the streaming side of things.
And it's a glamorous job. I mean, there are people that dream of live streaming 5 days a week for a couple hours and making bank.
And that's funny because I'll tell you sort of aside, like lots of people in the chat room here know, streaming is really hard. I've got a lot of really amazing people who support me. I've been sent gifts. I have these really personal relationships with a bunch of people that have been watching me for years. But there is this feeling for me of ownership of me as a person and of my life and of my content. And this has been something that I certainly have struggled with. Is I feel like on Thursday night, I was supposed to do Full Force Radio, and I worked until 8 p.m. at the office. I went to the pub, I had a beer, I came home, and then I worked till 4 a.m. in the morning. I missed my show entirely, and I felt gutted. And you get messages with people, hi, Inertia here, babe.
I have a kitty.
Yeah, I get messages that basically say, so are you quitting? Like, why? So, you never show up anymore. I don't understand. Yeah, and I start realizing that this is an insane pressure, not just interpersonally, but also like if I do want to grow, I can't miss a night. If I do want to grow, and there's sort of this crazy expectation around it, like the people who are like, I'll just start streaming and make money. It doesn't work like that. And I don't think people are prepped for the giving away of self that kind of comes with that.
There is definitely a time commitment. I will agree with you on that, but it does not have to be a 5 nights a week. And honestly, I would recommend new streamers not stream 5 nights a week. I would say start 1 night a week, or one morning. If you work nights, do 1 morning a week. Yeah. 2 mornings, 1 or 2 days at a time. I mean, you look at me, I only stream two nights a week. Yeah. And I've been doing that for years.
But if you can maintain it, that's more effective, right? And so I think we have this parallel with blogging and with anything. If you do something too hard, you burn out and you fail. And it's expectations management matters. Now, Fred just dropped something in chat that we talk about a lot here too. But he's saying, our community and maybe not even our community so much, but sort of the project managers and devs in our community. We need to stop being so purist about dApps having centralized aspects. And we've talked about it on the show, but I will kind of do it one more time. One more time for the people in the back. It's the truth. You can build effective tools using decentralized solutions where you need them and, integrating centralized solutions to give you the best of both worlds, because I can offer you all of these. Yes, we're live now. Thank you, Ron. You're the boss. So, you can give all these people, the security of verified identity and wallet and all of the good stuff that comes with Hive and being decentralized. But you also can build your business, your dApp around some centralized stuff. That means that all that you do, you can make sort of as good as it can be and to address the needs that these people have. And it's as simple as that. And
I love that GIF. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt that.
I completely
that's Trim.
Ass first. That is very accurate. So Fred is really right, because and we've been saying this for a long time, but it's hard to get everybody on the same page, because there's a lot of reasons we came to blockchain, we came to Hive, we came to these dApps, and it is because we do want an aspect of being decentralized. But 2 things can be true. You can use the advantages of both and create an even better project. And that's the part that we have to sort.
Centralization is necessary. Like for us with Vim, we have to use a centralized server for our ingest. Yep. To do that as a fully decentralized would be technologically impressive for two schmucks with a dream and a couple grand. Yeah. And 2, it would also be very difficult to maintain, because you'd be relying on you'd be relying on servers that may go up or down. And when you're starting a small business, when you're running a live streaming service, you need that consistent uptime. When you go down, everything stops and people will lose their shit.
Yep. Yep.
And it's like when the Hive nodes start going down. When a witness node that handles the condenser goes down, people flip out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those things that certainly we're starting to educate people on, because it's kind of like a lot of people don't necessarily know, and I'm not trying to correct you like a jerk, but witness nodes don't matter. And that's one of the big sort of really confusing things about Hive is, a node is a node is a node, an RPC node,
no, it's not.
And a witness node and a seed node. Technically, they're all the same thing at base level code-wise, but how you configure them and sort of the way that you connect them to the overall network depends on what the job they're going to do. So,
certain nodes do API calls, certain nodes run JSON, certain nodes.
And so for a lot of people, they don't know. When somebody says, it's node issues, change your node. Everybody that's normie or new to the ecosystem goes, I don't understand. This website's broken.
Yeah,
this website's broken and I hate you and I hate Hive. Fuck you. And then that's it. You only get so many chances, and not having a centralized sort of way of addressing that quickly has harmed some of the big parts of Hive, right? Like people go, condenser's been broken for 2 weeks after the hard fork. I hate it. I hate you. I hate everything. I'm going back to Facebook. And that was it. You had your chance. So, I think it's fabulous that you guys are embracing both, because you are a business and it matters, and you need to be a business and you need to be successful. And and I know Fred probably thinks I'm preaching to the choir, and I think he's preaching to the choir, is that we have an allergy to success in this system. The second somebody does something right, everyone goes, they're making so much money. They've got things I don't have. I hate them. Why don't money? And it's just,
it's true.
Oh my gosh, the blockchain is full of babies. And it's ridiculous that we are not embracing successes and we're not empowering dApps to have successes, because every dApp...
I was lying if I said I wasn't a little bit jelly of the success that They Call Me Dan has had with 3Speak.
Yeah. Well, now here's the deal.
I'm happy for him.
Yep.
I want someone please give me some of that.
Yeah. And Dan, here's another thing that you guys are always going to struggle against too is Dan, he put his money where his mouth is, and he dumped a ton of money into the ecosystem.
I wish I had that kind of money.
And so what that means, and what that means inherently is more people kind of followed him from the start. So he has an audience that he can say, hey, I did this thing from, here you go. And so again, it's how do you start small and build up an audience without spending a ton of money? That is the age-old question for everything. And again, it's valid for Vim. It's valid for it's valid for everything in the ecosystem. It's valid from the blogger all the way up to the dApp creator. And it's the same for, Fred and Hao are working on XP. Marty is creating tons of different dApps. Ben's always building cool open source software that hooks up to blockchain stuff. Inertia is working on documentation and a bunch of Ruby-centric projects, from everything from bots all the way up to he's got a content searching tool. Right in the chat with us right now, we have a ton of people who are, experimenting with ways to make the ecosystem better. And anytime somebody does something good, we don't celebrate it. We don't look at them and say, they were able to monetize. We just flip our shit.
I want to respond real quick to Marty's comment about wanting theater mode in Vim.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We are actually looking at changing the player that we're using so that would be when we find a player that we like, we'll make sure that it has theater mode.
Fabulous. Okay, cool. So maybe that's a good.
So just I'm sorry to interrupt, but no. That is a good it's a good comment, and one that's already on our radar. So
fabulous. I like that. I like being able.
We're doing recordings, and yes, we are for people that are silver or higher.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a different time frame for how long that replay is available based on where they stand on the leaderboard.
Yeah. And so Tom is just saying, I'd argue most, if not better, dApps, I'm guessing, would do better as centralized programs than decentralized. It's true. Take the things from the centralized aspects that make you money and make you a viable business, and then use that to integrate decentralized aspects in a way that gives back more to your clients. It seems very simple.
Exactly. Use the decentralized part. Use the aspects of decentralization that bring value to the brand, but also bring value to the consumer.
Mm-hmm. See, I love you guys. So this is a good segue because we got people talking in the chat about things they want to see. Other people are just hanging out. A lot of people are watching the videos. So some people are jumping out of the Discord to go watch on other places. I will say, can somebody please test the Vim stream, the Twitch stream, and the YouTube stream if you can with a comment? I just want to make sure that they're hooked up. It's entirely possible I blew it.
It's entirely possible we can blame Crimmy.
It is. When in general, you got Shane first and then me. I will take it. My shoulders are not quite. There's Vim TV. Boom.
Hey, sweet.
So
that's awesome.
I guess what it really does come down to is that's a great segue. I think a lot of people that are watching or will be watching again want to know kind of what is on the docket for Vim, because streaming right now matters and you guys are so excited to start introducing a lot of things. I will say for me, the big thing that I was really excited about and that held me off for a while was posting. And this is, I know we can talk about this in a second. This is one of those things that's really, it's really divisive for people because if you don't post, you can't earn is what a lot of people say, which is true. And if you don't post, people who are following you on the blockchain can't find you. And if you don't post, people don't know that you've gone live. All of that is true. But for me, the way that I run my blog and sort of the curation of the content that I make and the fact that I don't really right now.
That works, Marty.
Yeah, the way that I don't really right now is a problem, but also, it's a drink for me. And an inertia level, inertia usually doesn't get me drunk. That's exciting.
Ooh.
All right, so will I take a shot here? I think the big thing to kind of like, let's kind of have a jazz up is you guys have a lot of new changes. You have a lot of new features. So let's talk about those. My big favorite one is Vim will not post automatically for me anymore. I can choose whether or not to post, and I actively have to be involved in that process. And I love that. And everybody's yelling drink because I haven't drank yet. So, okay. Drink!
So...
Okay.
Yes, to answer that question about the posting, and there's actually a little bit more of an explanation behind it. One of the things that we caught a fair amount of flack from, and this was even back when we were on Steam. Steam cleaners actually approached us because of the frequency of posts that were being made on the blockchain.
Yeah.
People were wondering, like, is this legit? Like, what do you guys do? Are you guys like spamming to like, abuse the curation rewards or the reward pool? There were some real concerns there. Looks like Twitch is working awesome, and so that was one of the. It was something that had come up, and with the last hard fork, some of the API calls that we were using, and Sheeran can speak to this more than I can. He knows more of the technical details.
Shit's fucked.
Yeah. Some of the API calls that were used prior to the hard fork were not functioning up correctly. And I don't know the specifics on that. Sheeran can give you more. But so one of the things we figured out was that the way that we were running our logic was basically pinging one of the nodes that we use for getting information far too often, and we realized that pretty quickly that we were creating a significant drain on resources for other users on the Hive blockchain. So we decided that it was in our best interest to turn it into a manual thing, which people had been asking about anyways. It was just now we had a better. I don't want to say we had a good reason to do it because we always had a good reason to do it, but it was just like the timing was right.
Yep.
I guess would be the best way to describe it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now posting is handled manually. So when you go live, if you want to make a post on the Hive blockchain so that you can get upvoted, you have to click. There's a button on your dashboard that says Post to Hive. If you don't click that button, you don't get a post made. Yeah. Simple as that.
And see, that's brilliant.
That's fine. It's not a bad thing. It's really not. Mm-hmm. Isn't that right, Kitty? Just sitting there cleaning yourself like, all right, whatever, I don't care.
And actually, I can hear my dogs outside the door. I sent my dog normally like every month or so during one of these shows, the dog goes to the salon and he always comes back super sucky and miserable. So probably for the end of the show, I'll let him into the room because that's honestly the only reason the viewers come to my show at all. It is just straight up so they can see my dog, which is fair. I accept that. So apparently the YouTube chat isn't working. YouTube viewers, I can see there's a bunch of you over there, and I apologize. So here's the deal. YouTube, speaking of API fuckery, YouTube Live, they changed their API again, and I struggle every week. I set it up every week, and it works for one time, and it doesn't work continually, even though I've followed YouTube's instructions, Restream's instructions, and I don't make a new event. I have a scheduled event that I'm always doing whatever. Marty, that's a node error. Switch your node and try somewhere else.
It's also if the post to Hive was not clicked, that will also create that same error.
Okay. So you guys might want to work on an error message. I don't know if you can throw your own error instead of the blockchain.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron didn't push the button.
Ron didn't push the button. He pushed the button.
Yeah.
Push that button. So, there we go.
So the reality is we have a good chat this morning. We were talking a little bit about, why Vim is needed. I think sort of maybe a good direction to head in is you guys have got a few more feature changes that you are willing to talk about.
We actually do.
Yay!
Yes. So one of the big things that we're going to have a big change that's going to be starting next year.
Okay.
We're going to be we're reworking the way the ladder works.
Okay.
And we're going to have a post coming up pretty much as soon as I write it, explaining more of the details. I mean, Sheeran doesn't know that I'm talking about this yet. So,
so that's fine. I really don't want to cause the breakup of the leadership of Vim. But, this is a good opportunity to tease some things. Marty, like I said, he can come on for the last little bit of the show. He's going to talk about some stuff. He's going to get his own episode in the future.
Oh, fantastic,
But, I mean, this is kind of one of those things where you want to kind of let people know, like, hey, we're constantly working. Hey, do you have ideas? We've got plans. Let's get your feedback. Because when this stuff comes out live, you are the ones we're doing it for. So... One of the things that we're going to be doing, and one of the things we're going to be adding, is a gamification of the leaderboard. Cool.
So our leaderboard was born out of a desire to make. It was born out of a distaste for the way Twitch really doesn't handle their growth track particularly well.
Okay, and so before you start on that, basically. If Krim thinks she should not pressure her guest into sharing interesting details, she's not drunk enough. Here's the deal. I am the queen of peer pressure. Give me some time. It is a manipulative process. I need to kind of get my voice to skull working.
Manipulative bitch.
I am, and I love to get drunk on air, and I'm not even slurring yet, so this is fine.
Oh boy, here we go.
but so for me, I don't consume a lot of Twitch content either, which is still, like, I guess I'm still kind of a Luddite in the streaming world, as I often watch stream highlights back on just plain video. I don't have the time to usually engage with someone live, which is fine.
Yep.
But so what that means is I never really go to Twitch's homepage, and I don't truly understand their leaderboard. So in this case, content discovery, both on Twitch, on Vim, anywhere, and in around Hive is a problem.
It sucks. It really does. And everybody knows that that discovery on Twitch is non-existent. Mm-hmm. Part of the problem with that is that there is a hierarchy for who shows up on the front page and who doesn't.
Right. If you're famous or rich.
And how do you get there in the first place? And nobody will tell you.
Okay, so fair enough. Yeah.
So for us, what we did was we set up a leaderboard that is percentage based.
Okay.
You got your top 5 who are the top of the top, and they have earned that spot. They've put in the efforts. They've got the engagement.
Can I just say, no payola? High five. Well fucking done for you. Let's see. Oh, and Ron's saying Discovery on Theta is pretty good, so you should check out how they're doing it. So
look into that.
You guys, you're saying, so a lot of it is both engagement in your chat, consistency in streaming, and that's just like the top of the top. There's no way to get there except be good. And grow, like bring people in, engage your audience. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just about the quality of your stream.
It's the bring people to you and you will grow.
Mm-hmm.
And so we break it down in percentage basis after that. It's platinum is top 10%, gold is top 25%, silver is top 50%.
Okay,
so
yeah.
easy to understand numbers and metrics. And so, and you get a little streamer score based on the how much you stream and how active your chat is.
Yeah.
And that gives you your stream score.
Very cool.
We are going to be turning that into a more of a seasonal thing starting next year.
So it refreshes. You don't just get to the top and kill it forever. Smart.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And so the idea behind that is, after we're thinking, and this is still, we're still figuring out the details on it, but the idea is to do either quarterly or semi-annually sort of thing, where, every 4 or 6 months, everybody resets to their same tier. So if you're in platinum tier, you'll stay in platinum tier, but everybody resets to the same score. And then the people that are active have a chance to grow, have a chance to jump ahead, and have a better chance at getting to that next tier faster. It will incentivize people to be engaging, be active, and not just rest on their laurels.
Yeah, I really like this idea. And so for a lot of people in the chat who maybe aren't streamers, aren't gamers, this may not totally click right away, but you find this a lot. Anything that is competitive. The problem with taking on an incumbent is, especially in a situation like streaming, where you have people who follow you or who subscribe to you or whatever the nomenclature on that is. You always have them. Very rarely, when somebody subscribes to you, very rarely do they unsubscribe. You have to really fuck up, because it's an extra click.
Somebody off to make them unsubscribe.
It's easier to just keep scrolling past their content and never, look at it, than it is to actually unfollow them, or whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
And so the problem with an incumbent is it's really difficult to attack someone who's spent 5 years already building up their following, and they're massive, and then say in the case of Twitch or another platform, they're suggested to you when you start, hey, follow a popular streamer, and all of a sudden their numbers just kind of start rolling and they go on autopilot. How do you as a new streamer combat that? And so this is a thing that's used not just in sort of leaderboards like you're talking about for Vim, but for gaming as well. What do I do when somebody's been here, they've earned all the guns, they have all the armor, and I'm just this fucking noob with a pea shooter? This is something that happens in games. Leaderboards get reset, everybody gets wiped, and you all start again on the same level, and then it comes back to, well, you're really good because you've been practicing for a while, but you don't get to carry on sort of the benefits of all of the years that you're ahead of someone else. It's a really great way.
Vim handles it.
Yeah.
Currently the way Vim handles our leaderboards, we look at the past 30 days. So that's our current way of kind of bringing it back in. So you stick around for 30 days and you keep that consistency, your numbers will go up, and you will find yourself, basically in that spot where you want to be, just by looking at the past 30 days. And as you keep going, you'll be able to maintain that. But what we want to do is we want to turn that into we want to have some more equalizers within the tiers, so that people that are, say, in silver tier, that really ramp up their game, they start streaming more often, they have a better shot at getting into gold, versus somebody who's currently in gold and has been ignoring it for the past 2.5 weeks.
I really like this. I really think this is a great idea. This is exciting because, again, Twitch now, this is certainly something that I've noticed, and we're going to keep coming back to Twitch because it's kind of the be-all, end-all of streaming right now.
Which is what people care about.
Yeah, exactly. So we keep kind of talking about this. That's certainly something for me that I see is problematic. Like the homepage often looks exactly the same. And Fred's got a good question. So outside of just gamification, which is exciting for you and drives you to kind of meet certain goals that will help you overall, like I understand very fully if, okay, I'm in the silver tier and these goals that I'm given to drive me to the gold tier, they'll actually make me a better streamer. They're not just gamification to keep me engaged. They're also things that are gently prodding me in the right direction if I pay attention to them. Are there any other benefits to sort of the tiers, from Vim to the actual streamer?
Yeah, so the entire reason why we set up the tiers was to prioritize, like, as new features come out, as we add perks like the video on demand, the replays of streams. We make that available for silver and up. But silver streamers, their replays are available for a week. Gold streamers have their replays available for 3 weeks, 21 days, And Platinum and top 5 stream partners, their streams are available for 30 days, and that will keep rolling for as long as they maintain that Platinum membership.
Okay,
They stay in the Platinum tier or higher.
So huge high five, because I kind of want to underline that this is a really great way for you guys as a smaller company, because video hosting when you're smaller is expensive as
it is frightfully expensive. Oh my God, yeah.
What you're saying is you got two options. If you are not willing to put in the work, or you're new, or you have money, or whatever the case may be, you can pay to partner, and that pays for your video on demand. Great. That's awesome.
And that's why we set up the premium membership as well. So if you don't want to put in the effort to get to that Platinum tier,
or you want to jumpstart. I don't want to say that people who want to pay for a service are lazy, because in that case, here's your business model. You have the ability for someone to say, I like what you're doing. I want to support you. I need these replays. Here's my money. Boom. You guys are paying for it. You're taking care of yourself.
That helps support us. And realistically speaking, we have not turned a profit yet. We've stayed solvent for the most part.
Which is amazing. Good for you.
Which is very impressive. Yeah,
like, it's really impressive.
That is a fucking miracle. But the plans with like the premium membership, and some of the other, like the monetization of the gem sales, the plans for those is to reinvest that money into more infrastructure, hiring developers to set up a mobile app, extra research and development to make Vim a better site. It's really where we're going. Our goal with all has been, and that's been our goal with all of this.
Well, I just I want to say like a big kind of thank you, and also like a shout out, because a lot of people starting up a business alone don't think this part through, and this is something that we struggle with on Hive in a lot of ways.
You have to look at monetization. How are you going to make your money, and where are you going to use that money?
And that's just it. Is we hate on people who become successful if we feel that they haven't poured enough into the ecosystem yet. But the reality is to get better, you secure your own mask. Make sure that you can stay alive. You don't have to be rolling in the dough, but the only way to continue and to deliver the service that you've promised and that you want to sort of expand upon is to not go out of business instantly. And so building in a sustainable way from the very first second is, okay, we could pay people, like people could pay for their video on demand, so that's an option. But for people who can't afford it or who are ready to do the damn work, we have an option for that too. Exactly. However, choose your adventure, be free, and that's what matters for sure.
And also on top of that, we prioritize people who are in higher tiers on the front page.
Yep.
But then the other plan, one of the other things we plan on, and really we need more people involved. We need more people actually streaming on Vim to actually make this a thing. We want to have a section for up and coming bronze and silver tier streamers. Somebody who's at the top of that tier, who's top 10 in that tier, who's gunning for that next tier. Have a just a randomized, as people refresh, they'll see, oh hey, here's somebody who's up and coming that are in up and coming from bronze, up and coming from silver. Somebody worth checking out.
I love it. This is cool.
And foster, so we can foster that community of builders, like I've said.
Yeah.
The other big thing, because I've got another big announcement to go with that leaderboard reset.
Ooh.
We're adding another way to earn points towards your score.
Okay.
In the interest of community building,
we're
going to add a builder score.
Okay.
So
that's based more on.
You go out to somebody else's chat and you start engaging another streamer. You help that streamer grow. It's going to come back and help you directly.
Okay.
You start tossing up votes. You donate gems. You subscribe to somebody else. That goes into your builder score that then helps you with your own streaming.
I love it because, we've definitely discovered, and this is something I'm very bad at, is sort of the idea of the raid or whatever, helping other channels grow. And that's a huge part of Hive, is not necessarily reciprocity. Let's try and avoid that argument. Exactly. But the whole point is, how do I find other streamers? How do I find people to play with? How do I find, how do I keep meeting people around the world? The connections, especially in streaming, are really important. So, hey, can we make that not only fun for you, but can we just say, hey, that's really important to everyone? So yeah, here's your points.
And the hard part that we've had is it's been difficult to incentivize people to go out and engage other streamers, which, let's be honest, that's we need more streamers on Vim in the first place.
Right.
So I would love to see more people coming by and dropping into Vim. I mean, I tend to watch the browse page fairly regularly, and when I see somebody that I don't recognize, one of the first things I do is I drop in, I say, welcome to Vim. If they've got a Hive post made, I toss them an upvote and maybe toss them a gem or two along the way as well.
Yeah. And see, that's really clever. And so for me, I will say this is, like on air, it's kind of weird, but so a lot of people may not realize, or they do. The way that we handle Vim here is the Vim sort of hierarchy is MSP Waves is the social interactive broadcasting network that we've built from the ground up. Ron manages. It's been this wonderful journey of 4 years. The station,
and I gotta say, you guys do a phenomenal job. Like the MSP Waves channel is what we want to see out of like an internet radio channel on Vim.
Yeah.
Like you guys are doing new content. We're doing live shows like this one right here.
Yeah.
Live shows, playing music throughout the day, but then also encouraging user engagement. I mean, albeit through your Discord, but still, I mean, you're encouraging people to talk to you. We're chatting. We got Marty here. We've got Marky and Hacker Girl and all these people that have come in and are talking and engaging with us.
Yeah,
that is exactly what we want out of Vim.
Yeah,
and that's what we want to see radio stations out of Vim.
Yeah, and so MSP Waves, so the way that it works is I don't actually stream on Vim a lot of the time because my stream is going through the station stream. And so that, I know you and I have talked about it before, is it's not a horrible kind of thing if I stream my shows to Vim simultaneously, because I would be sort of showcasing just myself. But so ignore me for a second, because I'm not a useful metric for Vim, because I'm allowing the station to do it. It's part of the station's growth, and that'll change. But one of the things, Ron, that I think would be really great is getting a Vim bridge so that any Discord could have that Vim interactivity. And that's definitely something that I think would be really helpful. So hopefully maybe you and Ron and Sharon can talk about it a little bit. But
I made Ron mad.
Yeah. He said radio station. And of course, we like to say we are an interactive social broadcasting network because we have video as well. So many of you are all watching the stream, seeing me hanging out, which is really unfortunate for you, by the way. Sorry.
An Argentinian radio station that had a webcam in their DJ booth.
Fun.
And they were broadcasting the video from the DJ booth through Vim and then embedding that in their website.
Yeah.
And they did that for a month, and it was like,
Okay, so here is something that I think is cool, and that is a segue as well. One of these things that's problematic is 24-hour streams. I know that other places that can be really difficult. So let's talk about your guys' thoughts on that and sort of the sustainability of that through the future. And secondly, the other big thing with Twitch. Now this makes me laugh, and you probably know about all this, but maybe not everybody in the chat knows. A really good example of the DMCA, that whole Digital Millennium Copyright Act. You may have heard about this. And it's the thing that is, when you play music, generally it's music, let's just say for now. When you play music that's owned by a record label, because it's usually the company or the label, there is the potential that it can be heard in your stream, and your stream will be A, demonetized, B, muted, or C, potentially taken down. Now, I have a kind of a unique view on this because I do music-centric shows a lot of the time. And what happens for me on Twitch, they just rip the audio out. I've never had a strike, but they just mute whole parts of my stream. Fine, whatever. I don't give a shit. Because I'm not...
That's only for the replays, not for the live stream.
Yeah, and I don't care about that because Twitch is not my end goal. But I find, for me, YouTube handles it great. YouTube says, cool, you use music that's not yours. If you decide to monetize this video, all of the profits go to the artist. That's fine by me. I'm totally cool with it. So I'm okay with that. But what Twitch has been doing for big streamers is, if the audience is big enough, they have an algorithm that is basically forcing you to delete these video on demands and giving people strikes that cannot be appealed. And 3 strikes is a banning. Like, you're done. And for
and
people
and there's no way to mitigate that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that have literally gone poof in the last month because of videos that were 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah. And so one thing to kind of focus on this is, these are people who they don't have another plan. They've never really looked at the alternatives for monetization. And we talk about this on this show a lot is, one of the worst things, yes, you lose the money. Fine. Especially if you're big, you lose the money. But that's not the important part. The important part is all of those followers, yes, that you had amassed, that community you had built. That's one of the things that you guys have locked in the blockchain. And that fucking matters. Because for whatever reason, let's just say, please do not take this as I think what's going to happen. Let's just say you guys disappear. If that were the case, or, the government came and swooped in and they put a black bag over your head and they shut down Vim for whatever reason, that connection is maintained in a decentralized ledger. So you don't have to start over. You can go back, you can pull a list of your followers through another interface directly from the API, and it's still there. That connection can't be broken. Hey, Wolven!
You can reach out and poke somebody else, and exactly. And Wolven is another one of our platinum partners. I'm pretty sure Wolven's platinum.
Yeah.
She is amazing, by the way. Really awesome. Really awesome. You guys got to go follow her.
All of the Zenzo people are fabulous.
Oh, yeah.
So let's just leave that there for a second. That matters. But the reason that I bring this up is because there's a couple different things happening, because algorithms especially are problematic. And on Twitch, I heard there are 3 different things. One is playing the game that has music in it. People are getting strikes because the game's music that you're playing, you get a strike because the sound is in the game. And it's not that you took that music
up over it not too long ago, because they legit, straight-faced on Twitter said the best solution is to mute the game audio.
Right? So, great. Okay. Neat. Fun. I'm going to play a game in complete silence because your algorithm is broken. Cool.
I'll talk with Sharon about the premium. We'll get that fixed.
So there's number 1. Number 2 that made me laugh was apparently there was a woman who was doing an ASMR thing. Now, I'll be the first to say, I don't fucking understand ASMR. But there are some times that we joke about it. We do Crimrotica, or sometimes I'll say things very quietly and in a voice that's a certain, whatever, So apparently this woman had an ASMR channel, and she was whispering in a way that apparently sounded like some ambient ghost track. And I posted a tweet into the MSP Waves audience from a buddy of mine who helps out with my Extra Life fundraisers. Lodog here, Foxo. He posted a Twitch compliant sound Voltex stream, which is it's a music rhythm game. So the background music is all muted. It's funny as hell. Oh my gosh, especially for a music or rhythm game.
It was snarky and it was beautiful.
I love it. Can you imagine, remember the days of Guitar Hero being so famous, or even DDR? Can you picture all these people who are just silently clicking and clacking while tapping, or with absolutely no music?
Well, and that's the thing on YouTube. There was called Project 100. It was a group of people that got together to do the 100% full combo, 100% perfect for every rock band song on all 4 parts as a unique band.
Oh my god, that would take forever.
Dozens of people from around the world all playing online, and they were not only were they working with their own equipment, but then they had network latency to deal with.
Oh my god.
But going for a full combo, and some of these videos of some of these gameplay are just insane. It's awesome. It's really cool.
Well,
but videos like that,
it's not an answer.
Trouble for that.
Yeah, it's not an answer. And so then the last thing, so this woman, she's, here doing her ASMR whispering, I'm in your mind. And Twitch's algorithm heard it as some weird ass ambient track, even though she was literally just she was reading off audience chat or whatever. And the algorithm in Twitch was like, nah, that's a song. And she's like, buh. And that was it. And then number three made me laugh my fucking ass off, and it's very similar to the game problem. There's a band called Dragon Force, and they are
Yep.
schlock
Herman
cheese
Lee, yes!
schlock cheese power metal. They're so fun. I play them on Full Force Radio. They put on one of the best shows in the world. They're great. Herman Lee,
Herman Lee got banned from Twitch for playing his own music.
Exactly. So here's the deal. A lot of guitarists, band, everything else, they're moving to streaming. It's a very viable option for really like personable streamers and whatever. Oh, fuck you, Ron.
Actually, to that point, T-Pain started his own record label about 2 years ago, and he has officially given everybody license to stream any music that he has produced under his own label. So anything prior to, I think it's like June of 18, is still copyrighted by the labels.
Yep.
But he has given streamers full rights to all of his new music.
Yeah, and so this is something. So where I was going with this, for a lot of people who maybe we didn't finish the story there. So you have all these bands and people who are moving to Twitch streaming. Herman Lee is this fabulous guitar virtuoso. He's one of the fastest guitarists out there now.
He is insane.
And so he started doing Twitch streams of his solos and writing music. And it wasn't even a full band. He literally was playing one of his own songs that he wrote. And he was playing it for people, performing, whipping his hair around, and he got a Twitch strike and was actually banned for a little bit. He was, whatever the temporary first warning ban is.
No, he got a full deletion ban.
Oh, because they brought him back. But it's because he's famous.
They reversed it after he went public with it, and Twitch got blown up, as well they should.
And so this is something that makes me laugh. Here's a man who wrote his own music, who's toured all over the world playing it, who, is involved in his label's dealings, who literally got banned, not even for playing a recording of his music, but was playing the solo live, and the algorithm picked it up, and he got fully deleted, banned, everything gone. Now, nobody has the clout that Herman Lee fucking has. Nobody else comes back from that.
And that's the problem, is that for Herman Lee, it was a small setback because they
oh god, the red card thing. Let's not talk about it. Right. Blurt is Blurt. There. God bless him.
And Marky raises a good point. They can't afford to do it manually, so it's all automated. Mm-hmm. But now here's the thing. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, and I actually took a class on artificial intelligence. And the first thing you learn about artificial intelligence is that it is anything but intelligent.
So what we're leading towards here is this is going to become, as you guys grow, it's going to become something that you're going to have to contend with.
It's going to be a problem. Yeah.
What are your guys' approach to this? Knowing that this is a big fucking thing. This is going to come knocking on your door at some point.
We are obligated to comply with DMCA takedown requests as they come in, in order to maintain our DMCA safe harbor listing, our safe harbor designation. Yeah.
So what is that?
And actually, we have received a couple of DMCA takedown requests in the past couple months, mainly from people trying to stream UEFA Premier League and some cricket matches.
Fair.
And
Yep.
Indian TV that they didn't have the rights for, stuff that was obviously, pretty blatant.
Yeah.
And I would have you'd be hard pressed to try and push somebody to not do that.
But largely what this is going to look like for you guys is if somebody comes, like an artist comes to you and says, hey, this video, it's blowing up and that's great, but they don't credit me. They're using it. They're presenting it as their own. I'm creating a complaint. That's when you guys would step in. Your plan is not to do preemptive strikes?
At that point. We do run a 3 strikes and you're out policy in terms of like when somebody's like broadcasting for example, there was a group of people that were streaming YouTube playlists of videos there was content that they agreed with, which I have no qualms with having stuff that you agree with, but the problem was that they were not they weren't doing anything with it. They were not adding their own critique. They were not commentating on it. They weren't adding commentary. It wasn't live content.
Right.
And for us, our big thing is live content is our big, like, first and foremost.
Sure.
With regards to copyrighted music, we are obligated to comply with DMCA takedown requests. That said, it will be my goal to try and be as diplomatic as possible and try and find a reasonable solution for all parties involved. I think banning people from our platform because they're playing the radio in GTA is a fucking stupid thing.
Right. And
that
so
said, this has been my stance for a while. There needs to be a solution for streamers that the rights holders, the labels, need to offer. Yeah. They're swinging around a big stick and there's no carrots.
Yeah. And one thing that I think is really interesting, because you mentioned it is a lot of predatory label practices. But the thing that made me laugh really hard is, obviously I follow a bunch of metal labels. And one thing that I've discovered, and sort of what even prompted this show, is as I've on Twitter been, kind of building my following and whatever, I talk directly to a lot of artists. Now, this is a cool thing that I never did before.
And I'm a singer. Yeah, I'm a singer, so I totally get the need to protect your copyright. But when you make something, you want it to be if you're making music, you want people to be and you make that your livelihood. You need that income. So I mean that's reasonable. I understand that. I am 110% on board with that.
Well, here's sort of where I'm going with it, because I agree with that too. But in a lot of cases, is between smaller metal bands and smaller synthwave, because these are the artists that I'm reaching out and I'm actually starting to meet and talk with, which is really cool. This is the power of social media. But a lot of them are quite small. Like synthwave, the genre is getting bigger, but not very well known. Like I still get, I've heard just the other day somebody be like, oh, have you ever seen that movie Drive? There's a lot of synthwave in that. And I'm like, dude, that's from 2015. That was Kavinsky was the start of synthwave. Holy shit. But cool. Okay. Got it. So here's the deal. These artists are all going, fuck, play my music. It's cool. Say my name once, play my music, and please do that, because in this day and age, this is how people discover new music. And so, synthwave, especially Dr. Disrespect, I have no real opinions on his content. I think he's a big goof, but at the same time, he's created a schlock, a shtick, a persona. He's a really inventive, creative streamer. And he says, hey,
that asshole routine is a song and dance for him. It's not his actual personality.
Yeah, sure. And that's neither here nor there, but I bring him up because synthwave is a very good fit for the aesthetic that he's cultivated. Absolutely. And so he'll say, hey, here's a track by so-and-so. Here you go. And it's a clip of it. And he's got such a large viewership that inevitably drives people back to that artist. So a lot of these smaller artists, they love streamers, and they love big streamers, and they love live streams where people play their music. Hey, Revised Sociology, an hour late again, my love. This daylight savings time, we call it DST. It's dumpster fire savings time. It's trash, and I hate it. So this is something that everywhere that I have seen, these artists, they're saying, please play my music, please credit me, let's do it, let's have fun. But the labels are the ones that are problematic. But I thought really interesting the other day, I saw Blood Music, which is a middling tier independent metal label. They're fabulous. They reached out to Twitch. What they do is they do streams of new releases that they put out through their label. And so their stream is they show off one of the beautiful new presses of the records. It's super sexy. They put the art up.
Oh, nice. Okay, and that's cool.
That's their stream, is this beautiful new fresh marble colorway vinyl, and they play this new album. And the art is there, and they feature it, and they say, you gotta get this vinyl, check it out. And they stream it from start to finish. Well, Twitch has been coming for them. They are the label. They are actually the label. And they're like, we're playing it. It's our music. Fuck you. And we don't want you putting strikes against this anyways. Our music is stream safe. What the fuck? But they're not a big enough label. And I think you actually commented on the other day.
Music model, and I want to comment on that real quick, if that's right. So the music model, as we know it over the past century, has changed dramatically. And what I want to point out specifically is we've seen with different technology, we've seen new. There's been a whole dilemma that the music producers and consumers have had to wrestle with. For example, John Philip Sousa hated the phonogram. because we
Really?
thought it was going to kill music.
It's not true. Everybody, I
Right.
mean, frankly, if you want to listen to Sousa music, that's probably going to have a phonogram these days.
Right.
But
Right. But that was
that's how you
a
got
big
it.
thing.
Yeah.
And what they noticed was that, there'd be these people would go to the live shows and then they'd buy the phonogram to listen at home.
Right. And that's
And
the
it,
model. Yeah, absolutely.
and with the advent of the radio, we started seeing this more, especially in the early 20th century, 1910s, 20s into the 30s. You'd have these live radio shows, or like American Bandstand on TV in the
Yeah.
50s and 60s, where there would be these live shows that they would use the live performance to sell the album, and then these album sales would drive all this profit. And what's interesting is right around the advent of the internet, the mid 90s into the early 2000s, we started to see a switch where Napster appeared here. Yes, people started sharing this music around.
Fucking Metallica.
And people and the major music labels said, "Hey, this is going to kill our profit line. Our record sales are going down. This is a problem. We're losing money here." And and what's interesting is that with the rise of the 21st century in the aughts, we started to see a change where album sales started to drive people to the big kinds. Think of like Evanescence, Stone Sour, and Miley Cyrus even. These big bands, they'll be selling these albums, getting the word out and having these album sales that will then say, and now you've listened to the album, you've heard them on the radio. Now see them live.
Yeah.
And they charge $300 a ticket for just to be, for a seat where you need binoculars just to even get a glimpse of the lead singer.
Yeah. And so this is a great point that you've touched on.
The concert.
Yeah.
And so I honestly believe that we are seeing the RIAA has been using the DMCA as like a last gasp to try and maintain control of these profits.
Totally.
That are not really going anywhere, that are slowly dwindling. And so that now we're seeing like Spotify, where the label gets, it's like $0.006, or like 0.6 of a cent per play.
Yeah, Wolven, you're exactly right. It's in reverse. And so I can speak to this because I'm a consumer and I'm a supporter. And so for those of you that hang out with me on Thursday nights, and even here on this show when we don't have a guest and we're a little less focused, I play a lot of synthwave. I consume live music. And let's take COVID out of the equation for a second. Let's just dump that and chuck that in the fuck it bucket. Yeah. I usually go to a minimum of 4 live shows a month. I live and breathe live shows. I don't mind paying money for a ticket. And when I don't pay that much money for a ticket, I buy merch. And so the running gag on this show, like today I'm wearing a small, independent designer thingy, whatever. But oops, I didn't turn off my notifications. Sorry, guys. The thing that I have and that everybody teases me for is I have more metal shirts and band shirts than any one human has any right to have. It's ridiculous. They are on the insurance for my house. Fuck you! Oh my gosh, I thought I had changed that off. Sorry, dudes. Turn off all notifications.
Okay. Hive, you are absolutely right. She loves to go in the mosh pit, and it's great.
I do. I live
awesome.
for the mosh pit.
I love the pit.
And
I love the pit.
It's been really soul crushing not to be able to do that. But where I'm going is I fully recognize that bands don't make much money off me streaming, even though I listen to them all the time. And so here's where Hive and where Vim and where streaming and where, sort of direct connection solutions matter. So I go to shows, I buy the t-shirt. Even though I hate a fucking Gildan heavy cotton, I'll pay $50 Canadian. I'll bring home a shirt. And I know I can rest well knowing that money went directly into the band's pocket. I had an amazing experience, and the band, I supported them directly. And now I could go home and in good conscience listen to them on Spotify, knowing that I'm literally contributing only pennies to them there. Now, plays matter. Spotify is shitty and they are algorithm based too. So the more plays you get, the more whatever. But putting that aside, here we are now in COVID times. Live shows are effectively dead. What is the next alternative? It's streaming.
the labels are looking at ways to maintain their income, because
That hold on it.
the labels get money from the concerts, and they're not getting that.
Mm-hmm.
Labels get money from the album sales, and album sales are who does. I mean, let's be honest. Who does album sales now? The people who are buying CDs and vinyl are a very small number of people.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest.
Absolutely. And so here, Big Tom
are streaming.
Yeah, and Big Tom threw something into the audience they think is really really matters, and it's something that we're seeing across the board now, is as sort of this experiment that artists are doing. And not everybody, again, we talk about clout. T Swift has a lot of it. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but I have to say I've kind of idolized her in that she said, here's the predatory way that I, was kind of groomed by my label industry. Here's all the stuff that I have no control over and that frustrates me to no end. And now that I'm powerful, now that I have a voice, now that people care, I am doing everything my way. I'm cutting out the label, and I am making sure that everyone gets a chance to experience my music, and that also I have creative control. And she's just going for it.
We're seeing a lot of big names doing that. I mean, you've got Herman Lee, Taylor Swift, T-Pain just started his own label. I mean, you look at the big names that are doing their own thing. Serge Tankian from System of a Down,
and he's had to, because he's talking quite a bit about the Armenian genocide and a lot of stuff that, in a lot of ways, record labels don't want to touch. Now, I will say, metal in particular is a problematic genre in that there's some really incredible people, but there are some shitty attitudes in metal and anywhere else. But you do get
is by and large a you are you. Fuck the system, freedom of the individual, and fuck all the haters.
Well, and then you have these sort of problematic offshoots or the roots of some of even, say, like the black metal in the 90s, and talking about Varg, or talking about some of the newer bands where there are people who, they've done bad shit, and rather than sort of allowing people... Take a drink every time Krim says problematic. Problematic. It's problematic. Ron, are you drunk yet? Problematic. So here you have some bands that engage in really distasteful, shitty behavior. And it's, is it on the label to police that, especially political? And of course, this is, kind of reaching away from the streaming aspect, but we expect this now. Where is the right amount of moderation? Who steps in? Why don't we hold people accountable sort of on a personal level, bands for their content and, listeners for who they listen to, rather than asking labels to say, hey, Varg's a Nazi, don't play his... You know what I mean? Like, there's...
Right.
That's
hey, Hive,
ugly...
you got a staph infection, you stay away from me and go see a doctor, please.
Yeah, there's some ugly sort of expectations, and we're seeing it in politics, and we're seeing it everywhere. Cancel culture, deplatforming, and how do we empower people?
Speak to that at length too, because prior to any of my involvement with Steam, I was involved with a little thing called Gamergate back in 2014 that some of you might have heard of.
Yeah.
And wherever you stand on that, that's fine. We're not going to dive into that. But one of the points that I took away from it was like you said, that you are responsible, that there are people that say that you are responsible for the actions of your friend, which is very disturbingly similar to the social credit system that the Chinese government has enacted in recent years, where people could lose their jobs because of something their friends said on Weibo.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, Gamergate, you're right. We can't do this because it'll be a whole show, but and I've been on Coffee and Philosophy one night, and kind of explaining my stance on it, because Me Too is valid, because honest to God, I'll tell you, most women have had a Me Too moment, but also it's been weaponized, and it's a really, Gamergate was one of those things where we started to see that first bit of the Stasi coming for you, where your friend said something, or you worked at a company and now everybody's fired, or else we're boycotting the whole... It's this weird sort of interrelation of things that we should be dealing with at a social level that we're starting to expect to be enforced by some sort of authority. And of course, in the blockchain industry and sort of everybody that joins the crypto space, we don't like that. We want personal responsibility, self-sovereignty, and a move towards a choice of what we're doing. And so that's going to be a really important thing. So kind of swinging back all the way around to what started us on this topic.
And I can bring this back around to metal as well, because apparently during the thick of that Gamergate stuff, there was a push to attack the metal community at the same time.
Oh yeah.
And there was a short-lived Metalgate hashtag that's popped up as well.
Somebody in metal is always doing something stupid, which is unfortunate.
It was people who have no interest in metal were trying to police metalheads. It was more along the lines of what was going on.
Yeah. So it's kind of bringing this back around. We were kind of talking about, well, here we have labels are predatory and controlling what streaming solutions are having to do. But at the same time, other labels are desperately trying to work with streaming solutions because they don't want to be lumped in Hive's mom. Unless, come on now, I don't put children on me. I have thoughts on that. It's not for me. I don't want to. I'm not responsible for all of you. You all wipe your own asses. You all wipe your own noses. But I will love you like a mother. Oh, boy. Unless some of you are pretty sexy, I will love you like not a mother. And definitely not a stepmother, knowing what's popular these days on Pornhub. But so kind of where we were going, where we were going with this was, here is everybody. Oh, there you go. Quad's gonna be my surrogate. Was that here are streamers everywhere who are ripe for a platform that can give them some of the backup that they need in terms of their, their connections and what they've built. And then on the other side, they need a solution that they can use in conjunction with Twitch and whatever. Again, when we're saying, hey, Vim is here and it matters and here's all the things with it, it's not saying you must switch. This is, and here's the problem that we're having all around the world, in that if you're not one thing, you're the other thing. That's not true. Two things can be true, and you can use both tools really effectively. So how do we look at knowing how Vim is so well suited to right now? The world needs a Vim, and the world needs a Theta, and the world needs a 3Speak, and the world needs everything that is being created right now. We need them. What do we do to grow them? Like, what, in terms of Vim right now, what is your dream, and what is the user base of sort of Hive and Vim? And what is sort of an effective message to help more people understand Vim? Because one thing we found with Hive is, as much as we say, hey, here's censorship, resistance, immutable content, all of these things that you, the second you get banned, you say is the most important thing, it's not enough to draw you. So how do we help organically grow or really push what you guys are doing, knowing that if people discovered it, they'd just be like, fuck, I need this. How do we help?
So the best thing that you can do right now for Vim is to stream on the platform. Start streaming and start tuning into other people streaming. Build that engagement. Drop by. I mean, I stream on Monday and Thursday nights starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. I mainly play retro games. I know it
feels terrible because we stream at the same time. So that's another reason that I don't use
it. Really, it is. It really, it's fine. But I would love to see the PAL community start coming in and do a talk show. You know, have a guest. If you want to do a talk show and you want me to join you as a guest on your show and talk about Vim, talk about whatever you want to talk about, just message me. Hop into the PAL Discord, hop into the Vim Discord, shoot me a DM. We'll schedule something. We'll make it work.
Yeah.
I am more than willing to talk to people, and I'm more than willing to join people on their streams on Vim and get the word out and just have fun with it. I would love to see people, if you've got a decent gaming PC, consider spinning up OBS and start streaming the games you play. You know, sometimes for me, what I found really works, and streaming in general is there's a process to figuring out what kind of streamer you want to be. And for me, it took me a while to do, but I have fully embraced the whole retro streaming thing. It's kind of hard to see over here, but off in the corner here, if I can move my camera real quick, I can show you.
Yeah.
I got a whole corner of retro video games.
I know.
N64, PS1, original Xbox, GameCube, Genesis, SNES, the whole 9 yards, like everything. It's great, and I love my collection, and I love sharing my collection. I'm just adjusting the camera again so I look right.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
And
I have to bring this up. I
love
wanted to
sharing my
tell you.
collection.
I wanted to tell you, just yesterday, I bought the new remaster, the PC remaster of the original PlayStation Katamari Damacy. I'm so excited!
Yes! No,
I know, and it's been in my whole head.
Damacy.
And I know most people do not give a shit except for you, so I'm so excited to tell you on air. Hey, Stace! Hi, everybody that's joining us. I haven't been keeping up with the chat. I'm a fucking douchebag. I apologize. Worst DJ ever.
You have not lived until you have experienced competitive Katamari Damacy.
I know. The Xbox version, the fucking beautiful Katamari Xbox version, I remember I stayed up late at night. I bought the Japanese expansion pack. I set up a whole new Xbox account. I fake logged in through Japan. I bought the expansion pack so I could have the extra characters. I put so much time into Katamari. It's unbelievable. So I plan to maybe
I run tournaments at anime conventions here in my area. And
Fred, me too.
One of my classic, totally me things is we'll do a random tournament where the games will be random in between the rounds.
Yep.
And we've actually included Katamari Damacy in that lineup.
So ridiculous.
And Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup.
So
and Burger King Pocket Bike Racer. It's hilarious. It's great. I love it.
For everybody in the chat who's getting their nipples rubbed by a robot right now, if you've never heard of Katamari Damacy, it is a Japanese game, and you are the prince of the king of all cosmos, and the idea is you have a little ball called the Katamari. It's very sticky.
You roll around the ball picking up things.
Yeah, you roll over other things and they stick to your ball. And your
you think when you look at it, you
to
think
make a big ball. That's it. That's the whole game. It's you in first person pushing a ball around a level like a shitty little dung beetle. You're picking up cats. You're picking up cars. You're picking up other people. As you drive over things, people start screaming and flailing, and your ball gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually, you get so big, you're rolling through the universe, picking up planets and black holes and stars. You're
starting off at the beginning. You're starting off like thumbtacks and postage stamps, and then eventually like buildings and monster trucks and whales and kraken, and it's great. It's hilarious.
Ron is saying he hates when things stick to his balls, and that's really unfortunate. Trust me, if it's a simulated ball situation, it will give you all of the enjoyment that you will not get when things stick to your balls in real life. So, there you go.
It's true. It is such a fun game. It's
so fun. It's so stupid.
It's a total guilty pleasure sort of thing. You say, I love Katamari, and people who play the game go, I feel that.
Right?
Everybody else goes,
soul. And it has the best soundtrack of all time.
Oh, it's a wonderful soundtrack.
Yeah.
I love the soundtrack to the Katamari games. It's fantastic. It's great.
Side tangent. I wanted to throw
Anyways,
that out there. Katamari appreciation.
I would love to see more people. Yes, there's Katamari in the chat. Thank you, Solo. I would love to see people playing whatever games they've got. If you've got PC games, play them. Grab a mic. It doesn't matter if you have a webcam or not. If you have a camera, cool. If you don't, that's fine. But find a game that you like to play on stream. And sometimes that's a variety. Sometimes that's just getting really, really, really good at like League of Legends or CS:GO or whatever you want.
Yep.
And just rolling with it.
Totally.
I would love to see more people streaming because I will go out of my way to help people grow.
I love that. Thank you.
I want to see more people growing on the channel, growing on Vim, to make the site awesome.
Yeah.
We're working on adding additional ways to monetize. Subscriptions are coming for stream, so viewers can subscribe to their favorite streamer.
Love it.
We are working out the details on that. We're working out. There's a lot of stuff that's in flux right now, but it's under construction, and I can't wait to have things just like all come together and be like, yes, there we go.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking at the
Marty's
time.
got a great question here.
Oh yeah, okay. No,
too.
absolutely. I was just gonna kind of let people, because Marty's got a great question, and also I know I want to keep a tiny little like corner of the end of the show for Marty because I can't give him the whole show this week. He wants to make an announcement, so that'll be a little bit towards the end of the show. We're coming up. We got about a half an hour left in the show. I've been terrible about station identification. For those of you, I know you're watching all over the place, wherever you may be watching or listening. My name is Crimson Clad. I'm a crazy person.
Freak, the Gingerbeard Man.
Yes, this is DDR Freak. This is CyberBuzz. Every Saturday at this time, whatever morning, night, wherever you are in the space-time continuum, I'm here and I'm streaming usually synthwave music, but I talk a lot about what's happening on Hive, disruptive technology, blockchain in general. We have a lot of fun, but this part of the internet,
and sometimes she invites nut jobs like myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on that. I'm working on the guest thing, and I don't advertise the show a whole lot. So if you want to hang out with us, please let me know. Subscribe wherever you're watching or like or whatever. And one of the big things that we have that I always forget to mention until the last second is if you're in the Discord right now and you want a Discord notification for this show, it's as easy as typing, there you go, subscribe, check out in the chat right now. Oh, if I could spell it correctly, I'm going to drop the command. If you type that in Discord, we have a bot that will automatically put a roll on you and you will get a notification for the show. No big pings, no everyone's, just twice to remind you that the show is on. That's it. So if that's helpful to you, go into the chat, type that, you'll get a subscription notice, and Discord will give you a message and you'll know when the show is on. Otherwise, wherever you are, like Vim. And now that I've done the shilly bit, we will continue the last little bit. So what I want to do is, Marty has asked a great question, and I feel like it's kind of culminating and sort of towards the end of our video here at our thing.
Great way to end this out, too. Yeah, absolutely.
I want you kind of to repeat your little elevator pitch for Vim, knowing there's a lot more people watching all over around. And then answering the question, so outside of what we just talked about, which was how can we help you? Marty's question was, how do you plan on getting more people aware that Vim exists?
Well, social media is amazing for that. One of the things that I do quite a bit. Hi, Agrode. One of the things that I do quite a bit is I get active on the Vim Twitter account.
You guys are really good.
I watch specifically. I watch people mentioning Twitch. When people are talking about the problems they have with Twitch, I say, "Hey, we exist."
Yeah.
The more people, and whenever I go live for my streams, I post up on Twitter. I post on Hive. I post in my Discord and a handful of other Discords saying, "I'm live. Here's the links. Come check me out." And honestly, as more people stream on Vim and make their announcements on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Hive, Discord, WeChat, Line, wherever you're at, Minds, Gab, wherever your network is, the more people make that announcement, the more people will come into that public consciousness. Yeah. Advertising as the way that we advertise nowadays is the old buy a banner ad and throw it out there just doesn't work anymore.
Totally true.
And for most people, it's not, for most small businesses, it's not a good use of your money. So for us, our big thing is we are relying almost entirely on word of mouth.
Oh, Sharon's talking about your Refer a Friend program. Sharon, I swear we've only been talking about things that you would be happy about. I promise. I promise. And we could do follow-up later, too. The next couple of weeks, I'm planning to be talking with Roland about Hive Fest. We're going to do some more of that. We're going to stream some VR. Marty, we're going to talk about some of his stuff.
If you're going to be at Hive Fest, stream it on Vim.
Yes, that's another thing that I'm going to be doing.
I would love to see you guys. If you're going to be
and
at
Roland
Hive
will
Fest,
be too.
Stream it.
Yeah.
Sharon, let's make sure that we can put the people that are streaming Hive Fest. Let's make sure we can put them on the front page. Just get all the Hive Fest streamers up there.
Yeah,
I think that's definitely doable. And I think we'll make that happen.
And definitely talk to Roland because he's setting up a big, extensive sort of server infrastructure, so he'll be able to stream different perspectives and some cool stuff like that. So talk to him too.
I'll get that. I'll get in touch with him as well. Roland, if you're listening, I sent you a DM earlier. Let's chat.
All right.
You don't even need a VR headset to attend Hive Fest, by the way.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked about it last week, and I'll show it off a little bit. But depending on what you're using to watch, you can actually do it. You can interact, you can engage, you can hang out and in the space from your PC as well. So that's pretty cool. But we won't go down that road because that's another show.
Yeah.
So I guess the last little thing is sort of your kind of message to the world is Vim. And then Marty, maybe just let me know in the chat, like, if you can only do voice, that's fine too. Let me know. And I might actually be a dick and I might take a break and make everybody listen to at least a part of the Katamari Damacy soundtrack and everybody be miserable. So no synthwave today.
The song you're going to play, Crim, the song you're going to play is A Crimson Rose and a Gin and Tonic.
Oh, is that an actual song? That's amazing.
That's the name of one of the songs from the Katamari Damacy soundtrack.
What?
From the first game.
That's like my life. Actually, oh my God.
You're welcome.
Look at this. There's we're approaching singularity here. I was going to play Katamari on the Rocks, which is how I like my whiskey.
Also a fantastic song.
Yeah, but we'll see. Only for a little bit because literally everybody in the chat's going to lose it. Hey, Baltic Badger, good to see you, man. And like Hitler, I'm literally Hitler. And last week, everybody got mad at me because I played a synthwave cover that I didn't really like, but I thought might be a good addition to the show. Yeah. Everybody lost their fucking mind. Everybody hates everything I do on this show. It's shocking. People come only to tell me how much they hate me, and I'm getting used to it.
But I love
Everybody hates. Thank you. but so here's the deal. Everybody hates it. But the week before that, I played Ile Arson's new release, which is a synthwave faux rock opera about the Cybertruck coming to life like Knight Rider, except it's evil and it kills the designer of the Cybertruck, and Elon Musk must resurrect him, and it's Elon Musk fighting his own Cybertruck gone wild. And so I played that. And nobody knew what to think, and we continue on that path week to week. It's a shit show. So give us your message from Vim to the world. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with me today. It was a great chat, and I'm excited to put the recording
I appreciate you having me around. Yeah. So the big takeaway for Vim, we exist. First off,
I love it.
And we are a streaming platform that focuses on community building and engagement, and we want people to be able to make the content, make their stream theirs. We want you to stream your way. We want you to stream you and want you to stream your best self.
I love it. And you don't have to be crypto-centric. You don't need a Hive account off the bat.
You don't.
You don't need to have crypto.
Oh.
Fuck yeah. This is cool.
Yeah.
So there you go. Dudes, if you are consuming streaming content on Twitch, if you are thinking of trying streaming, if you just want to find more stuff to watch, think about adding Vim to your rotation. And of course, if you know a streamer
that incorporates both Twitch and Vim chat into the same overlay, so you post that on your stream, your viewers on both platforms can interact with each other.
And I love that because you make it easier, because not everybody uses a service. Like, I use Restream Chat. I don't use Restream because they don't support you. I don't pay Restream because they don't support you. I use Caster, and Caster does integrate you. They're fabulous, and they're not as expensive as Restream, so that's great. But Restream's chat is the best chat, and I know this will be difficult, but that's my one takeaway is if you guys can start adding other platform connections just for your chat API, I would pay you for that, to be able to use that on my overlay. That's one thing right now that I'm missing, and that I cheat to kind of have all connected, is because I can rely on my Discord hooks for Vim, and I can rely on it for Theta, and I can rely on it for the website, and then I allow Restream to take care of pulling those Discord hooks into Twitch and YouTube and Periscope and everything else. So that's one thing that I would love to support you guys. I know that's a lot of infrastructure, but just on the back burner, overlay is one of the most important things for chat, for sure. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. All right, cool. So just keeping it in the back of your brains. But otherwise, big cheers. Marty, I'm going to play a track and then you're going to have like 10-ish minutes maybe to talk. Is that enough time for you? DDR Freak, I'm going to unceremoniously pick you up and throw you out of the chat room like a piece of trash, even though that's not what you are. You're a fabulous human being, but I'm literally going to pick you up and just fling you away. So the first thing I do is wave goodbye right now because I'm going to change the overlay and you're going to disappear. You're gone. And now, you're gone. I've thrown him out. So thanks for hanging out for today's show. It was fabulous. I really enjoyed it. Please don't leave yet. There's still a little bit more time in the show. I'm going to get Marty set up in the background. Basically, what I'm going to do is the exact opposite. Marty, I'm going to drag you into the on-air room. We're going to listen to you. I'm going to introduce you. There will be no, hi Gandalf! There will be no video of Marty because apparently he's unshaven, sweaty, bald, and in his boxers in his room, and he has given me the heads up to not put that in your eyeballs if you're watching. My name is Crimson Clad. This is CyberBuzz Radio. Here's the deal. I normally play synthwave. You throw away like a real lady. I know. And don't say I throw like a girl because I don't. I throw better than most men. I played competitive hardball and fast pitch for years. Now, with that being said, men have stronger muscles than me. So Ron, yes, boys can still throw better than me. Nah. Don't turn it into a gender thing. But what I am going to do is just briefly, I am going to play you a little bit of the Katamari Damacy soundtrack because everybody needs to hear na 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 na. And I won't let it go the whole time. But here you go.
Feels so good. 素敵なアフタヌーン。プラチナみんな yeah。固めて転がす I love you いつでも smile for you 君だけにラブ Hey so 頑張らなくちゃ
Okay, and that's delightful, but let's gently fade that out. There you go, Katamari Damacy. Not the whole track, but some good fucking fun nonetheless. I'm not gonna lie, it is one of the most fun guilty pleasure games. It's so fun, it's mindless, it's stupid, it's very Japanese, and it's just a really enjoyable game. So I was just throwing that out there. Katamari Damacy Reroll is an HD sort of re-versioning for PC of an old PlayStation game. God damn it, now my hair's all a disaster. I went to try and get the dog for you guys. He got, his nail got hurt at the groomers today and he's pouting and he won't come into the office. So we've got only about 15 minutes left in the show, but Marty, I'm going to drag on air here. Give me 1 second. And I'm going to ask him, you're here. Can you hear me?
I can.
Ah, you sound good. Let me turn you up a tiny bit. Now the question is do you want me to call you by your username or do you want to introduce yourself by your name? Because I don't call you your name. I've never called you your name.
Yeah, just go with Martiviz. I think everybody knows me like that anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to throw this out here because we got lots of people listening. People are watching all over the place. We got people all over. You started off the way that you and I met through the ecosystem is you created the Steam It World map, and I fucking loved
damn.
it. I
Yeah,
fucking loved
that's
it.
long ago.
Call him Farty, apparently, Qua says. So, Farty, now that you're on air, hey, Swoop, hi, everybody. So you created the Steam It World map. I fell in love with it because when I came to the blockchain, when I came to the legacy code base, as I like to refer to that, I was creating travel content, and I want to get back to creating travel content. My journey's been meandering, but I loved what you were doing. We delegated to you, I started following the vote, and I have been ever since. I love how you... Darren, holy fucking shit. So Darren is here. Darren, hi. So that was a big thing, and that's how we met, and then we met at Steamfest, and it's just been delightful, and I love everything that you produced. So as we've moved to Hive, you've now created Have You Been Here, which is a much needed update of sort of the Steam It World map, and then also PinMapple, which is, I guess, maybe actually the Steam It World map, Hive World map equivalent. Yeah. So maybe talk to us about the 2 dApps that you have that are really awesome on Hive, and then you've also been creating some cool stuff in the background, and you have some announcements you want to make.
That's right. Let's start with the start. So I think most everybody, well, at least in the travel community, and I think most people on Hive by now probably heard of Steam It World map back in the days and PinMapple now.
Yep.
So the first announcement I want to throw out is we are currently having a contest that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And you can it's like a raffle thingy. So just by like following our social accounts and stuff, you can win entries. And there's a 2,000 Hive prize pool. So it's pretty massive actually.
Yeah.
And anybody can join in for 4 more days. That's the main reason I actually wanted to come on now, because later, people won't be able to join anymore.
So can you, in the chat when you get a chance, can you kind of either drop the link to the contest, because I know you've got that, and maybe some of the socials links? Because you're right, and I just...
Everything, all the social links are directly visible from within there. So if you complete an action, you immediately go to that social media.
Beautiful. And so one thing, because I literally just kind of had it backwards, like PinMapple is the map, and Have You Been Here, I think maybe not as many people know about Have You Been Here, so do you want to kind of just like quickly talk about the two and sort of what they're for and what they do?
Yeah, sure. So PinMapple is a very, very simple but very robust way to geotag all your posts. So for travelers, it's really awesome. Mm-hmm. For example, you could go to my map. Let me just type that out in the chat as well.
Yes.
And so that's my... Well, actually, let me change that URL so it's clickable.
And one of the things that I like about this that I'm just going to throw out there is because there are going to be people that rewatch this, and they're going to be watching because of maybe the Vim connection and some other stuff, and just watching it just because they rewatch my videos. One of the things that's the best about Hive is if you're a streamer using a Hive connected account, maybe you're streaming travel content. Well, all of a sudden, you have an automatic login to sites like PinMapple, to dApps like Have You Been Here, and all of a sudden, you have the ability to connect all of these things and sort of grow and create content that's multifaceted. So for people who might be listening because they stream, but they didn't know they had other options, here is some cool travel related stuff that you've been kind of spearheading and creating.
Yeah, exactly. So like my main focus has always been on the travel community because, I tend to travel a lot myself. Of course, nowadays, unfortunately, a bit less.
I know. A year ago, we were drinking Samsung together in Thailand.
Yeah. Good times.
I know.
And so then, like you mentioned before, like Have You Been Here is a bit of an upgrade to PinMapple. So it's a mobile app. And it's let me start off with saying, in essence, it is centralized, but it allows you to post to the blockchain. Mm-hmm. So you have the option of doing both, which means you can get all your friends, all your non-tech friends, non-crypto friends, all aboard as well. And it allows you to create waypoints, which is basically a little check-in of each location that you've been in, and then you can create a post out of that. And it can draw out your entire trip, also map all those places, and so on. So there's like a whole lot of functionality for travelers. It's like the social media platform if you are a traveler. Like there's nothing else like it out there. And so for both of those, at the moment, we created a proposal which is almost being funded, which is super excited because it means I can work and open source parts of it and really keep it going.
I'm really proud of you. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's like, considering, you know, where I came from, I think maybe some people will also be interested in this. I recently just put out a post, because I don't post that often, so it's like a one in between, a rare between kind of thing. But let me toss it out there because it gives a really good background of where I came from and where I started, right?
Yeah.
So I started in 2017, and in short, it's been like a really tumultuous up and down kind of road, for better or for worse. I think for better in the end. And I feel like now I'm in a really good positive wave, and I keep riding it out as far as I can. And on that wave, like my latest project, which you know, we'll also be talking about more in the show, is Buy Me Berries, and I just announced it today. It's just went live.
I know, I didn't want to say anything.
Okay, so let me just toss that one out there as well. It's called Buy Me Berries, and it's basically, if people are familiar with buymeacoffee.com. It's a way that you can support freelancers, artists, developers, NGOs, whatever you want to, you know, donate to. You can buy it, like you can buy coffees for that. That's how it works. And then I made a Hive equivalent of that, and it's called Buy Me Berries. And you can buy berries. It works with both Keychain and Hive Signer, so you can do it mobile as on the desktop. And yeah, you know, you kind of keep it rolling.
And so this is exciting because, again, we just talked about streaming and we talked about Vim, and Vim has gems. And of course, the connection is if you have a login to the Hive blockchain, you automatically have a login to everything in the ecosystem. So you can start playing Hash Kings. You could start checking out Ether Chess because Coin's in the chat. I've already shouted him out, but he didn't hear it and he'll never believe me. So I did. You could start playing Splinterlands. You could start playing Rabona. You can start using Leo Finance. All of that great stuff that comes with this sort of interconnected part of our ecosystem. You get to pick and choose from a big buffet of stuff you want to do, and you only have to do what you want, you find useful, you find fun. That's it.
Exactly.
But it's automatically existing. And I know for a lot of people who are pursuing streaming solutions or who are creating dApps, this is how the ecosystem helps everybody else in the ecosystem grow. But Patreon and demonetizing on platforms that are traditional, all of a sudden, you know, any little option like this that you've created is really fun. And so the Buy Me Berries is a new thing. And I know we've kind of promised we'll do a whole show, kind of like we did today with DDR Freak, is we'll have some fun. We'll kind of chat more about travels and life and tech and all of the things you're building. But those are the two really kind of big announcements that you have for today is Buy Me Berries exists. And also there's a huge contest going around with a big fat Hive prize related to your travel apps.
Exactly, and so that's basically in short it. And I look forward in going like way more into depth on all of it. You know, how it works and everything, and you know, when we get to do the show.
Yeah. So I don't have a promised date for you yet. Coin stood me up 3 times in a row. He's Danny in the chat now. He stood me up like 3 times in a row. So he is coming up to the top of the list for getting a show. Roland and I have to discuss when we're going to do a Hive Fest show.
For sure.
Qua has a good thing. Before I kind of kick you back off the air, because I'm watching the time. We're coming up real close here. We're going to go right to the end. That's how Krim does it. And Eggert's on after me. So if you want to hang out, hey, Chew Girl, I haven't seen you in ages. Another world map alum, a beautiful babe, and somebody I also who have not hugged in far too long. But so here's the deal. Buy Me Berries is very easy to use, and for many of you, you can actually just go grab the code for a button, put it on your posts, put it on your streams, put it on your website, and it literally is kind of like a donation. But oh fuck, you leveled up. 1 sec, I got a drink. So talk a little bit about how that's another alternative for collecting donations. There's Hive Tips. We've got lots of different options. This is a great fun one. Talk about it. I'm going to take another drink. Oh, God.
All right. So the main difference between Buy Me Berries and current existing tipping solutions on Hive is that there isn't a single one that...
It's not a real level. Don't fall for it.
So there's no real like trigger, right? You always want to have a call to action when you want to get donations. So the current tipping solutions, it's all on the supporter. It's like you have to make the first move. Well, with Buy Me Berries, I kind of turn that around. It's like it's on the person who wants to get the support to get the message out there. So you go able to generate all these buttons and banners automatically, and you can put them on your websites, on your posts. So it's like really, really convenient and really like out there. People see that, you can support me and this is how you can do it, which you don't have with other tipping solutions.
And I may have this wrong, so tell me I'm a fucking idiot if you need to. Tell me anyways, because everybody thinks it. Is that if you make a post and you tag it properly with the Buy Me Berries, you can kind of create a wall of updates related to whatever you're asking for donations for that you want. Like if somebody were to come to your main page, it's not the same as your blog. It's only pulling information that you would like to post to the blockchain that then gets pulled into your Buy Me Berries profile.
Exactly. So let me discuss in my my Buy Me Berries so people can get an idea of how it looks. So this is my profile, right? And if you use the tag the tag BMB home, it will automatically use that the last post that you made with that tag as your home post, and then you can use the tag BMB update in your post, and you can do this from any front end. Then it will show as an update. And that way you can keep all your supporters in the loop of, what's going on and what you're working on, what you're doing. So it's also kind of, for me, it's great because I'm really shitty at writing posts. I don't do it often. And now I'm kind of forcing myself to do it.
Well, and
to get those updates out.
I love this, and I love kind of your go get 'em attitude, because you work in bursts. When you hit inspiration, you're like me. You go ham, and you just that's your focus, and then you build it, and it happens, and it's magic.
It's like Buy Me Berries. I think I built it in like
3 days?
a week.
Yeah,
in like a week, but it was like 15-hour days, like 15 hours days every day for a week straight. And I love working like that, right? It's just like you get into that vibe, you keep going. It's amazing. And
totally. And so kind of one of the reasons that you can keep harping on this is here is another great example of somebody in the ecosystem who's just like I was talking about with DDR Freak, and just like Fred was bringing up and all the shit that we were talking about earlier, is here's a thing where you use the blockchain for really useful stuff. Like I'm going to catalog all the people who are following me and all the social connections. And also I'm going to catalog all the updates I make so that if you've donated to me or you want to donate in the past or for what I've done in the past, that content isn't lost. It's backed up in the blockchain. But here's a service that is centralized, and I've created a front end, and it's kind of self-sufficient, and it stands on its own, has its own monetization model, which is a small percentage goes to you from the what comes through the system through Buy Me Berries. And you're using the best parts of the blockchain to solve a problem that we have. And you're also then building something on your own that is in itself its own business, its own app, its own solution. And I love that. This hybrid approach is what we need. And the beautiful thing is every person who builds a hybrid project like yours, like Splinterlands, like Vim, like whatever, like XP, like all of these different types of solutions, they create an on-ramp for people to discover other solutions inside the ecosystem.
Exactly. It's like what I... Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead. Please interrupt me.
Right,
you guys are here.
So what I was saying before in the chat is like, I'm looking more and more at Hive as like a good login system, and that can be used for any front end where you can help your users decentralize their content, and you can reward them in the process of doing so. But it doesn't mean that you're limited to only having a blogging platform. You can build so many things on top of that.
Yeah.
And I think that really should be like more and more of the focus of the Hive ecosystem in a whole, of developers. It's like, what can we build on top of Hive that's super fun and super useful?
And this is something, it always makes me laugh because I think back to even at times on Steam or the years that I've been doing this show, the literal years, is to me, we bandied about with trying to come up with a good tagline, and we never really got there, but we came to the sort of base fact that it's a turnkey blockchain made for sharing. And the reality is take what you need, build what you need, use it to allow you to decentralize and protect value transfer. And value comes in so many different forms, in the connections you make with people, in the connections you make as a business, in the sort of ability to back up data, and also the ability to verify and know a wallet address is who they say they are. You don't worry that the person that I see streaming on Vim is not the person I just played a Splinterman's match against, is not the person that I bought art from on NFT Showroom, is not the person that I was chatting with in openhive.chat or through one of the integrated chat systems on the websites. All of a sudden, you have the ability to sort of be you, build content, create communities and connections and all of the important shit that comes along with social media, and have that protected and supplemented by a blockchain that is also open source.
100%.
Why is no one as excited as we are? And that's the thing, right? So we literally have 40 seconds left. Then I'm going to have to throw you out. So like 10-second elevator pitch, and then we'll do another show later.
10-second elevator pitch? Holy shit.
You're losing time. Go.
So if you want to read more about everything, I think the easiest to do is just read the latest post I've made, because I'm talking about all 3 projects there, and I think that leaves you with like 5 seconds.
You're done.
So
my name is Crimson Clad. This was Marty. We had DDR Freak on. I love you very much. See you next week. Bye.
Mwah. Ciao.
All done. Okay, so we're still streaming on things off the air, but MSP Waves is now moving to aggro. I'm going to throw you back out, Marty. Thank you. I'm going to end my recording, and we will get this posted up. Thank you, and off you go. Are you ready? Bye. And to everybody else, thanks for hanging out for CyberBuzz today. I have appreciated having you. My name is Crimson Clad. Please, if you're watching on one of the platforms around whatever ecosystem you're streaming this somewhere, or you're going to watch the replay later, thanks for supporting me. Please follow. I suck at doing this. I don't know how to ask. So just whatever you need to do to kind of help me keep making videos, do that. Anyways, bye. I'll see you guys next week.